This is Pizza Dude Man Guy, and this is the first episode in a brand new series where I talk about what a character might be like if they were in Super Smash Bros. I recently completed Rayman Legends Definitive Edition for Nintendo Switch on my channel, so today we're going to be discussing Rayman. Since this is a new series, let me lay out the structure first. Each episode is going to be divided into 4 parts. First, I'll give a general overview of who the character is and how they relate to Smash Bros. Next, I'll talk about the character's general appearance, how they would look, what kind of animations they would use, etc. This is going to be more general than specific. Then we get to the big part. Here, I'll actually go through ideas for each and every attack in the character's moveset, plus a few extra things like taunts and potential palette swaps. However, I will not be covering specific damage percentages, launch distance, or speed. Those types of things are malleable to balance a character with the rest of the roster. And last, we'll wrap it all up with my personal feelings on the character, including the probability they'd ever actually be added in Super Smash Bros. In the future. So let's dive into Rayman for Smash. Rayman for Smash! Rayman, the limbless hero of the Glade of Dreams. He was created by the nymphs to protect their world from nightmares, and over the course of his adventures, they've granted him many powers. Rayman is one of Ubisoft's earliest mascot characters, and his high-action games have persisted to this day, even if they took a bit of a hiatus. Regardless, interest in the character and series has grown since Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. Each main game is released on a Nintendo console, and Rayman himself is certainly no stranger to brawling. I think Rayman would be a fantastic fit for Super Smash Bros. I'm certain that much of Rayman's appearance would be based on Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. After all, the bulk of his moveset would be made up from the moves from these 2 games, since he has so many attacks there. I also like the idea of giving him his really goofy and cartoony expressions from these games, but I don't think it would translate completely one-to-one. For instance, this idle look with the 2-dimensional gaping mouth, I'm not sure would look the best in 3D. What I think would look better is to give Rayman an appearance that mostly resembles Origins Legends Rayman, with references to the later 3D Rayman, like the one from Raving Rabbids, particularly in the mouth. I think Artsyomni's Rayman from the infamous start of Smashified is a really good example of a compromise between these styles of Rayman's appearance. Otherwise, yeah, I think things like his walk, run, jumps, and even roll can take direct inspiration from Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. Most of these moves come directly from Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. In these games, Rayman is pretty much already built like a Super Smash Bros. Character, being platforming based while having an attack for every conceivable angle and position. In fact, through his combo attacks, he probably has more moves than a Smash Bros. Character. I thought about implementing this into his moveset, but decided on a different gimmick instead. We'll get to that later. Here are my ideas for a Rayman moveset. For his neutral attack, I'm thinking his basic attacks from Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, which includes a 4-punch combo ending with a big punch. Likewise, Rayman already has a set dash attack in these games, which resembles a spinning lariat. For his forward tilt, a kick, referenced from his final kick in his walking combo. Up tilt is an uppercut, and down tilt is the kick he uses while crawling. His forward smash could be the chargeable wind-up punch he performs in Rayman Origins and Legends, with a longer charge not only increasing the power, but the range. Likewise, his up smash is the upward variant of the wind-up punch. As for his down smash, I decided to go with the ground pound. This move isn't usually chargeable, so it would need an animation for that, but the idea is that Rayman punches the ground below him super hard. For Smash Bros., this could work like a single-hitting version of Donkey Kong's hand slap special attack. Rayman's aerial moves are all also references to the many attacks he can use in the air in Rayman Origins and Legends. His neutral air is a forward kick, forward aerial is a 2-fisted meteor punch, back aerial is a back kick, up aerial is an upward kick, and his down aerial is the crush attack. This blasts away enemies as Rayman goes sailing down and buries opponents that Rayman strikes directly on the ground. Rayman Rayman doesn't regularly grab enemies, so like many characters, there's some creative liberties with his throws. For his grab, I decided to reference the Grappling Fist, one of Rayman's more traditional signature abilities. With it, he launches a fist that creates a magic tether to hang on to, so it's a tether grab that can also be used with stage recovery, like Link and Samus. For his pummel, I decided to go with a headbutt. I thought it'd be funny to see Rayman just make his head float towards the opponents and bash them with his often referenced big nose.
Okay, listen closely, Big Nose.
For his forward throw, I was thinking a variant of his wind-up punch, swinging his opponent around in his hand before tossing them forward. Back throw could be a twirling swing similar to Mario's, and his up throw could use the lifting animation from Rayman Legends, tossing the opponent into the air. And last, he could use both hands to slam the opponent hard into the ground with his down throw, kind of like a throw version of his ground pound attack. Forward floor attacks are for when a character attacks while laying belly first on the stage. For Rayman, his could be an uppercut coming back up from the ground. Meanwhile, his back floor attack, for when he's laying on his back, could be a jump kick to get back up, using his hands to spring himself upward. When sitting on the ground after being tripped, I was thinking Rayman could get back up by spinning with his arms and legs out, hitting all around himself while referencing his hanging and swimming attacks. Edge attacks are what characters use when they crawl back onto the stage while hanging on a ledge. For Rayman, this is where I decided to use his roll attack from Rayman Legends. It's a really fun move, so I wanted to incorporate it somewhere. He spins his body around while launching his hands and feet all over the place. In Smash Bros., I was thinking it could work as a rapidly striking combo attack, like Yoshi's down aerial. And last, new to Smash Ultimate, are ladder attacks. For Rayman, he could throw punches off the side while he's climbing. Now we get to my favorite part, the special moves. Interestingly, while Rayman has many attacks in Rayman Origins and Legends, he doesn't have very many special abilities. Meanwhile, in more traditional Rayman games, Rayman doesn't have a wide variety of attacks, but traverses through the levels almost entirely with special abilities. Smash Bros. Movesets are often anthologies of a character's entire pool of abilities spanning their lifetime of adventures. For instance, Mario's moves most heavily reference his attacks from Super Mario 64, but his special moves include Fireballs, the Super Cape, and Flood, each of which come from different Mario games. For Rayman, I think this is a great way to make him feel like his entire self. While most attacks I've listed up until now have been the fighting moves from Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, I'm building his special moves from his traditional iconic abilities. Rayman's neutral special has to be the Magic Fist. This is Rayman's signature attack from every classic Rayman game. With it, he launches a glowing projectile from his fist. For Smash Bros., I think it could work functionally like how his wind-up fist actually works in Rayman Origins and Legends. This is what I mean. You can simply tap B anywhere, and Rayman will launch a short-range Magic Fist forward. However, if you stay in one place and hold the B button, Rayman will charge the fist, giving it more power and range. While charging, you can change Rayman's angle, kind of like Pit's arrow attack. Wherever Rayman is facing when you release the B button is where Rayman will launch the fist. Rayman's side special could be the Purple Lum Swing, the way Rayman typically implements his Grapple Fist ability in Rayman and Rayman 2, which is also similar to Rayman's Lockjaw power-up from Rayman 3. The way it could work here is Rayman launches his Grapple Fist diagonally upward and latches it onto one of the ring-like purple lums. Just by pressing side B, Rayman will swing forward then release, launching himself upward into the air. This wouldn't put Rayman in helpless state, but he's unable to perform a double jump or a second Purple Lum swing. You can also hold side B to stay attached and swing back and forth. However, after 4 swings, the Purple Lum will disappear and Rayman will plummet. During a swing, Rayman damages and knocks away opponents he comes in contact with, plus the move makes for a good recovery. One idea for Rayman's up special is the Super Helicopter. This is a souped up version of Rayman's iconic hair helicopter ability where he's actually able to ascend and fly around. It's usually used as a temporary power-up and is similar to Rayman's Throttle Copter from Rayman 3. Pretty basic as far as recovery goes. Rayman rapidly spins the hairs on his head to ascend into the sky, giving him slow but free horizontal movement as long as the move lasts. Contact with Rayman doesn't do damage, however, opponents in a cone above Rayman are harmlessly pushed upward into the sky, making a good defense against meteor attacks. The other special property of this recovery is, at the end of the ascension, Rayman doesn't go into a helpless state. Instead, he starts gliding downwards with his regular helicopter hair ability. And this takes us back to that gimmick I was talking about earlier. Rayman's helicopter hair is an essential part of movement in Rayman games, so I wanted to incorporate it as a special ability unique to Rayman and Smash Bros. It would trigger like Peach's float ability. Just by holding the jump button, Rayman starts spinning his hair. However, he can't retain his altitude like Peach. He slows his descent while gaining free horizontal movement, but he still drops, so it's more like the Parasol item only with an even faster descent. And, of course, it doesn't just trigger by holding the jump button, but also automatically triggers after Rayman uses his up special. This means Rayman has a lot of recovery options, being able to use a purple lung swing, followed by a super helicopter, ending with helicopter hair. Even when knocked far away, Rayman can make a comeback. The Magic Fist, Grapple Fist, and Helicopter Hair are Rayman's most iconic classic abilities, and the most obvious choices for special moves. As for Rayman's down B, I decided to go with Plum Drop. Over the course of Rayman games, plums have been used for many of the puzzle-solving elements, whether it's riding them, bouncing off of them, throwing them down as platforms, or throwing them onto enemies. Here's my idea for how they'd work in Smash Bros. Rayman throws down a large plum directly in front of himself. It bounces forward, slowly and in a short range, 4 times, then disappears. Coming into contact with the plum is harmless, but bounces you away in the opposite direction, like the spring item, but only 1 plum from each Rayman can be present at a time. It's a very versatile move. Rayman can use it to keep opponents at bay to set up his ranged attacks, or jump on top of it to bounce into the sky. If used in the air, Rayman can even try to drop a plum directly on top of someone, bouncing them downward like a meteor attack. Rayman's moveset is built to help him recover, keep opponents at bay, and attack them from surprising distances with his unattached hands and feet. There's lots of choices for Rayman's final smash, but I went with Mosquito. Mosquitoes have been friends of Rayman since the first game, and there are levels dedicated to piloting them there, as well as in Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. During the final smash, a mosquito swoops in and Rayman jumps on. Then, the mosquito rapidly shoots out of its proboscis, while Rayman simultaneously launches magic fists everywhere. Ultimately, it's a final smash similar to Mii Swordsman or Wii Fit, where projectiles are being launched in a large cone in front of the user. Now, that's all of Rayman's attacks to flesh out a Super Smash Bros. Moveset, but there are some other cosmetic aspects of Rayman's moveset I want to talk about, such as his on-screen appearance, like Mario's Warp Pipe. I think Rayman should use an animation similar to starting a level in the original game, where Rayman basically assembles into being, his body appearing, then his head, hands, and feet gravitating towards it. One of Rayman's taunts needs to be the Grimace. This is a signature pose for Rayman, where he pulls his mouth open and flails his tongue about. It's an essential for one of his taunts. His up taunt could be his fist pump, where he exclaims Yahoo! Yay! Rayman! And his down taunt could be a fourth wall breaking smile to the audience, complete with a ding sound effect. There's still one last aspect I want to cover, and that's palettes. Every Smash character has 8, and for Rayman, I think what makes the most sense is to use his alternate costumes from Rayman Legends. Palette 1 is traditional purple shirt Rayman, meanwhile Palette 2 is blue. Rayman often wears a blue shirt in the Japanese version of his games to give him a more heroic appearance, so having both purple and blue as palettes is kind of like Rob having both an NES design and a Famicom design. For the rest of the palettes, I chose Raybox, a palette that makes Rayman resemble his best buddy Glowbox, Raymesis, a reference to the various Dark Rayman characters that have appeared over the years, Sir Raylot, a knight costume that's also being used in Brawlhalla, Ray Plumber, a Nintendo exclusive Rayman costume, Funky Ray, a possible reference to the Raving Rabbids series, and Champion Ray, a palette that gives Rayman the Ubisoft logo and used to be exclusive to the developers of Rayman Legends. Lastly, Rayman's Kirby hat would obviously be a hood that gives Kirby Rayman's hair. Rayman is a character I have a very strong personal desire for. Out of all the video game heroes I grew up with, he's the only one that's not playable in Smash Bros. Given the nature of his games and abilities, the fact every main Rayman game has been on Nintendo, the amount Nintendo and Ubisoft have been collaborating recently, and the Rayman references we've seen in Smash Bros. Up until now, I think Rayman has a very good chance of actually being added someday, maybe even as DLC for Smash Ultimate. At the very least, I really hope he is. Rayman is now my most wanted character for Super Smash Bros. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I'm planning on doing a lot more videos of this nature, so if you like what you saw, please subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think of Rayman or what you think of this new series. See you next time for the next character.